Welcome back, guys, to another video. And in this video, I want to say something very important, and that is the fact that his data is pretty useless at the moment. And I'm just going to use this suburb here from Lalore as an example in Victoria. Now, the reason I say data is useless for now is because a lot of the metrics we look at, things like stock on market, days on market, they are historical data. They are historical data points at a point in time from months ago. We analyze those market movement, those market trends to help us determine whether a market is heating up, whether a market is cooling down, whether a market is suitable for capital growth in the near future, in the long-term future. But because the May 12th budget had some very strong changes, removing negative gearing, it fundamentally changes the way investors react. What that means is markets that could have been trending down, a lot of inner city Melbourne markets, a lot of New South Wales markets that had lower yields, where the days on market was trending down, the stock on market was trending down, we cannot take that for granted because these markets have low yields, and without the negative gearing anymore, investors will lose a lot of money on a weekly, monthly, and yearly basis, and thus they will reconsider about re-entering or entering these markets for the first time. And so even if a market has low inventory at the moment, like you can see here, strong days on market like you can see here, low stock on market like you can see here, it does not necessarily mean the market will continue moving in that direction. And this is really important to understand because I know there's a lot of data-driven buyers agents out there, a lot of data-driven courses, including mine, out there at the moment. And this is why it's so important I make this video, is because I don't want investors right now at this point in time to look at the data set from a period of time 3 months ago when the policies were very, very different to compared to what they were now and make decisions based off that, because that will lead you into the wrong market, right? Because if you look at this market in Victoria, for example, the stock levels are trending down, the days on market has been trending down, the inventory has been low and trending down. However, this same market cost $800,000 to enter and a 3.5% yield. So let me ask you this question as an investor. When you are entering a market and you're buying something for $800,000 at 3.5% yield, you're negative $20,000 per year, would you buy that property? And I think the answer for a majority of investors will be no. And if that investor demand cools off, these trends in stock on market and days on market might start to trend upwards. When more stock comes onto the market and there is less demand in the market, it means that house prices will stagnate or fall. And remember, there's only so many owner occupiers out there, and there's only so many of them that will be able to uphold the prices before they stagnate. This is a really important concept to understand. So if you are out there listening to property advice, if you're out there listening to BAs and data-driven BAs about following the data, it is not valid for at least the next 3 months, in my opinion. And when you look at data, it is so important that we assess trends and not data points at a certain point in time. You can't look at the month of May and say the market is heating up. You have to look at March, April, May, and then make a determination, not just May. And in the same way, we can't look at next month's data in June and then say the market is still heating up. No, we're going to have to wait for June, July, and August. And at August, that is when the data will be far more reliable for us to make a determination about where markets are actually heating up or cooling down. And then you're going to ask me, okay, so if we can't look at the data, how do we decide which locations to invest into? And I'm going to answer that question for you. But before I do that, I've already answered this question, guys, in the private community. I've helped out members analyze different locations, pick the right suburbs they used, and they made decisions based on the information I have shared within the community so they can identify the best locations to invest into in a post-budget environment. Everything you've learned pre-budget needs to be slightly tweaked post-budget so that you still pick the right locations to invest into. And if you need that help and you need that validation and that confidence to go into that market, jump in the private community. You can reach out to me privately, ask about suburbs, ask about property deals, ask about reviews, and I will be able to help you. So don't wait any longer. It's $35 a month. The price is about to increase very, very soon. So if you have any questions, jump in while you can. So now that we know we can't exactly rely on the data metrics of stock on market and days on market and inventory levels because the market needs to readjust for the changing circumstances, which ones should you be looking at? Because there are a couple of data metrics that you can assess to determine where it is likely investor demand will continue and where it is likely the markets will become stronger. And you can verify this information with on-the-ground feedback from sales agents, property managers, etc. And so I'm going to break this down for you. The first one you want want to look at is yield. Now, if you want to find good markets, you need to be buying in markets that have a minimum of 4.5% median yield. And the reason for that is if you're buying around a 650K property at a 4.5% yield, you're just losing about $10,000 per month, which is far more manageable for an average investor than 3.5% yield, losing 20K per year. So that's important to understand. So the yield is the first one. The next one is you want to look at rental growth. And the reason why rental growth is so important is because it is not necessarily, now there is some linkage, but not necessarily directly correlated to investor activity. Now, when you have more investors buying into a market, it adds to more rental supply into that market. However, if the median rents are still increasing despite more investors in that market, like you can see in the suburb here in Bundaberg in Walker Vale, with about 5% increase of the past 12 months, that suggests to me the rental market in this location is incredibly strong. And just because investors stop buying there, that's only going to make the market tighter, increase rental yields and rental returns, and in turn become more attractive for investors in the future. So the median rents is a really good indicator of where rental markets are strong, where rental markets are growing, and it gives us an indication of where growth is likely to continue. So median rent should be on your watch list. The next one is affordability. Now, this is a metric that you can tweak about. I like to have below 35 years. 40 years is starting to stretch, for example. However, affordability, if suburbs are affordable, means owner occupiers can afford them, investors can afford them. It is a metric that is good to have a look at to see where growth can happen in a location. And so that's the next one. Now, the next one you want to look at, and the last most critical one, is vacancy rate and the vacancy rate trend. You want to have the vacancy rate under 2%. And not only that, you want the vacancy rate to be falling, like the ones you are seeing right now. Now, the reason this is important is because when you have tighter vacancy rates, falling vacancy rates, you have increased pressure on the rental market, which in turn raises rents in that location. And when rents go up, yield gets better. And when yield gets better, investors see more opportunity in that area. And hence they come to the market, they buy in that market, and prices will go up once again. And so these are some of the most critical metrics that you want to be looking at right now over this next 3-month period. So you don't necessarily have to rely on stock on market, days on market, inventory levels. While these are important, especially their trends are important, it's hard to analyze them post budget, at least for the next 3 months, but you can be far more reliable on the rental market trends as they involve people and tenants, and that is far more reliable. And so if you're listening to a data-driven BA out there, be very careful about what pitch they sell you, because trends are going to change very quickly over the next 3 months, and you can't rely on stock on market, days on market, but you can rely on the rental market trends. And then you can verify that information with property managers and sales agents on the ground, and you can make a decision about where to buy from there. And so I hope this video has helped you. If you have any questions at all, drop it down in the comments below. And if you want advice and guidance like this on a daily basis, jump in the private community. That is what I'm here to do, to help you determine which locations are best to invest into post budget. And guys, you're missing out if you are not part of the private community. So till next time, thank you very much.